The room smelled like polished wood, old paper, and quiet tension. I had expected grief, maybe even tears. But instead, there were smiles, not warm smiles, not real ones. The kind of smiles people wear when they are waiting for something that could change their lives. I stood near the back of the lawyer's office, slightly behind a tall bookshelf that made me feel invisible. That was exactly how I wanted it. Invisible, observing, listening. My name is Claire Harper, and I wasn't supposed to be important in this room, just a distant relative, a name on a list, a chair filler at the reading of Eleanor Whitmore's will. Eleanor Whitmore, the woman everyone in this town talked about like she was a mystery that never fully solved itself. Some said she was kind, some said she was cruel. Most agreed on one thing: she never did anything without a reason. The lawyer cleared his throat. The room instantly quieted. Papers rustled. Pens were held tightly. A few people leaned forward like predators sensing movement. "Proceed," the lawyer said calmly. And just like that, the reading began. At first, everything felt normal. Bequests to charities, small gifts to distant relatives, a painting to someone I didn't recognize, a housekeeper left a generous sum. Each line was read clearly, slowly, professionally. But something about the rhythm felt off, not what was being said, but what wasn't. The lawyer turned a page, then another. Then paused for half a second too long before continuing. I noticed it immediately, maybe because I had always been sensitive to small details. The way people avoid eye contact. The way fingers tighten when lying. The way silence sometimes speaks louder than words. He continued reading, more names, more inheritances, more signatures of a life being divided into pieces, and then it happened. A pause, a strange one. The lawyer didn't speak. He didn't even move for a moment, just stared at the page. Then he turned it, too quickly, almost like he didn't want anyone to see what was on it. My heart did something strange, a small, uncomfortable drop. No one else seemed to notice. They were too busy reacting to their own mentions, smiles, nods, whispered excitement, but I noticed. And then I started watching more carefully, page after page. There was a pattern: read, 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 pause, turn. But the pauses were increasing. And so was his hesitation. His fingers gripped the edges of the paper tighter each time. Then came the moment that changed everything. He turned a page, stopped, looked up, smiled, a polite, controlled smile. "The remainder of the estate," he said, "has been distributed according to private instructions." A murmur spread through the room. Private instructions? That wasn't mentioned before. A man near the front leaned forward. "What do you mean, private instructions?" The lawyer adjusted his glasses, and that's when I saw it, his hand, just slightly trembling. "Certain documents," he continued carefully, "were sealed and are not part of today's public reading." A woman scoffed softly. "So there's more." The lawyer nodded once. "Yes, but I am not authorized to disclose the full contents here." Room immediately shifted, smiles disappeared, eyes narrowed, interest sharpened. Because now it wasn't just about inheritance anymore, it was about exclusion. Someone was getting something, and someone wasn't. I leaned forward slightly, something about the way he said it didn't feel right, because it wasn't just secrecy. It felt rehearsed, like he had said this exact sentence many times before alone. Then the lawyer said something that made the air go still. "There is one final document," he said, "but I must retrieve it." Stood up and walked out of the room. The door closed behind him. Silence fell instantly. And that's when the real tension began. People started talking at once. Whispers, questions, suspicion. "I heard she changed the will last week." "No, she did it months ago." "She hated half of us anyway. She was never stable in the end." I wasn't listening to them. I was thinking about the pages, the skipped page, the unnatural pauses, the way his eyes avoided certain lines. Something had been missing, not metaphorically, physically. A page had been avoided or removed. And no one else seemed to care except me. 5 minutes passed, then 10. The lawyer still hadn't returned. The room grew restless. Someone checked their watch. Someone else stood up and paced. Smiles were gone completely now. Only tension remained. Then finally the door opened. But the lawyer wasn't alone. Behind him stood a second man, a clerk, carrying a sealed envelope, thick, old, important. The lawyer returned to his seat without looking at anyone. He placed the envelope on the table, carefully, deliberately, like it might explode if handled wrong. "I apologize for the delay," he said. No one responded. He opened the envelope, and inside was a single page, just one, not stapled, not attached. Just one separate sheet of paper. My stomach tightened, because now I was sure that missing page had been real. He unfolded it slowly. The room leaned in collectively. Even I did. The lawyer began to read. But this time, his voice changed, less professional, more cautious. "As per the final amendment to the will of Eleanor Whitmore," he read, "all prior distributions are subject to revision based on the contents of this page." A ripple went through the room. Revision, after everything, people shifted in their seats. Eyes widened, the lawyer continued. Any beneficiary not explicitly named in this final amendment is to be excluded from all remaining assets, including property, financial holdings, and personal effects. Gasps. Real ones this time, not polite, not controlled. This was different. This was shock. A woman stood up immediately. That's impossible. We were all named earlier. The lawyer didn't look at her. He kept reading. But I wasn't listening anymore because I saw something. His eyes. They moved too fast across the page. Like he was scanning, not reading, avoiding something, skipping something again, and then I realized it. There was more than one page before this. There had to be. This wasn't the full amendment. This was a fragment, a carefully selected fragment. My breath slowed. Because now I understood what I had seen earlier, the hesitation, the pauses, the skipped page. He hadn't been reading everything. He had been hiding something inside the reading itself, using the rhythm to disguise omission. The lawyer finished reading the page, folded it, and placed it back into the envelope. As per legal obligation, he said quietly, this concludes the reading. The room erupted. It doesn't. There has to be more. You skipped sections. Voices overlapped, anger replaced confusion, confusion replaced shock, and I stayed still watching him because he wasn't reacting, not at all, no sweat, no panic, just calm, too calm, and that's when I knew this wasn't just about a will, it was about control. He had controlled what they heard, what they believed, and maybe even what they would never know existed. The clerk whispered something to him. He nodded, then stood up again. I understand your concerns, he said, but all legal documents have been presented. That was a lie, I knew it, even if no one else could prove it because I had seen it. The missing page or the skipped one or both. Something had been left out deliberately. And Alina Whitmore, whoever she truly was, had left behind more than just instructions. She had left a trap, a carefully designed one. And the lawyer was standing in the middle of it. The room slowly began to empty. Arguments continued in whispers. Some people left angry, some confused, some already planning to challenge everything. But I stayed until the end, until the last chair scraped the floor, until the door finally closed. Only then did the lawyer look up. For a brief second, our eyes met. And I saw it, not guilt, not fear, something worse, recognition, like he knew I had noticed. And that small moment told me everything I needed to know. Whatever had been skipped in that reading was not an accident. And I had a feeling this wasn't the last will reading I would ever attend. It was only the first layer of something much deeper, something still waiting, still hidden, still unspoken. And someone somewhere had made sure of it. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to *EmilyCalmStories for more quiet mysteries that slowly reveal what was never meant to be seen.